Focal Point, a proven system to simplify your life, double your productivity, and achieve all your goals, by Brian Tracy. Picture this. A massive nuclear power plant, worth billions of dollars, is mysteriously slowing down. Every hour that ticks by costs the company a fortune. The plant's brilliant engineers are completely baffled. They've examined every system, checked every circuit, run every diagnostic test they can think of, but the problem remains hidden. Finally, out of desperation, they call in the country's top consultant. This expert arrives, slips on a white coat, and for 2 entire days he simply walks around the facility. He studies hundreds of dials and gauges, scribbles notes on his clipboard, but never touches a single piece of equipment. He just observes, thinks, and calculates. On the afternoon of the second day, he pulls out a black marker from his pocket, climbs up a ladder, and draws a large X on one particular gauge. "This is your problem," he tells the stunned engineers. "Repair the equipment connected to this meter, and you'll be back in business." Then he packs up and leaves. The skeptical engineers decide they have nothing to lose. They take apart the apparatus, and to their amazement, they discover a tiny hidden flaw that's been causing the entire shutdown. They fix it, and within hours the plant is humming at full capacity again. A week later, the plant manager opens his mail to find a bill for $10,000. His jaw drops. $10,000 for 2 days of walking around and drawing a single X? He's furious. So he writes back, asking for an itemized breakdown. A few days later, another invoice arrives. For placing X on gauge, $1. For knowing which gauge to place, X on $9,999. This simple story reveals one of the most powerful secrets to living a successful and happy life. It's a secret that Brian Tracy, one of the world's most respected authorities on personal achievement, has spent over 25 years researching and refining. In his transformative book, Focal Point, he shares the keys to finding that one critical spot in every area of your life where a single, focused effort can create extraordinary results. After studying the habits of the most effective people in the world, Brian discovered something surprising. The difference between high achievers and everyone else isn't talent, luck, or even hard work alone. It's clarity. It's knowing exactly where to put your so or X. So what if you could develop that same clarity? What if you could learn a proven system to simplify your life, double your productivity, and achieve every goal you set for yourself? That's exactly what this book offers. By the end of today's summary, you'll understand a practical process you can apply to your work, your finances, your family, and your personal growth to get better, faster results than you ever thought possible. You'll learn how to find your own focal point. Have you ever felt completely overwhelmed? Like there's a mountain of tasks piling up, and no matter how hard you work, you're barely making a dent. You're putting in longer hours than ever, but somehow you still feel like you're not making real progress toward your biggest goals. It's frustrating, exhausting, and it traps so many people in a cycle of busyness without real achievement. We've been taught that to earn more, we have to work more. To achieve more, we have to sacrifice more. But what if that entire mindset was fundamentally wrong? Brian Tracy opens with a bold claim that sounds almost too good to be true. You can double your income while simultaneously doubling your time off. Now, before you dismiss that as impossible fantasy, hear me out. The secret isn't about cramming more hours into your day. It's about completely changing what you put into those hours. And it starts with a fundamental shift in how you think about your life. The very first step, and perhaps the most important decision you'll ever make, is to accept complete and total responsibility for your life. This is the great dividing line that separates the successful from the average. It means you stop blaming others, you stop making excuses, and you stop complaining about your circumstances. From this moment forward, no matter what happens, you tell yourself, "I am responsible." When you truly embrace this mindset, something magical happens. You stop feeling like a victim of circumstances. and start feeling powerful. You reclaim control of your destiny. You begin to see yourself not as someone's employee, but as the president of your own personal services corporation. You're self-employed, regardless of who signs your paycheck. Your work is your product, and your job is to make that product more valuable every single day. Once you've taken full responsibility, the next question naturally follows. How do you actually increase your value? The answer lies in a simple but profound principle called the 80/20 rule. It states that 20% of your activities will account for 80% of your results. Let that sink in for a moment. In your work right now, there are just a handful of tasks, maybe 2 or 3 out of 10, that are more important than all the others combined. These are your high-value activities. The other 80% are low-value tasks that consume your time but contribute very little to your actual success. The key to doubling your income is identifying that top 20% and deliberately focusing more of your time and energy there. At the same time, you must learn to delegate, eliminate, or postpone the low-value tasks that are holding you back. This discipline alone can completely transform your career. By focusing on higher-value work, you become dramatically more productive, you make a greater contribution, and eventually your compensation will double to reflect your increased value. And because you're accomplishing twice as much in the same amount of time, you can actually take more time off without losing productivity. This idea of intense, strategic focus is what Tracy calls the focal point. It's your X on the gauge. It's the one thing you can do at any given moment to get the best possible result in that area of your life. Your ability to identify and focus on that X has a greater impact on your success and happiness than any other single factor. To find your focal point, you absolutely must achieve clarity. Clarity, Brian emphasizes, is everything. Successful people are crystal clear about who they are, what they want, and exactly how they're going to get it. Unsuccessful people are usually fuzzy, confused, and vague about their goals and direction. To gain this clarity, Brian introduces what he calls the Grand Slam formula. It's a 4-part system for dramatically improving your results in any area, and it consists of 4 powerful concepts: simplify, leverage, accelerate, and multiply. Let's dive into the first and perhaps most powerful step: simplify. To get real control of your time and your life, you must constantly be reducing and eliminating activities that don't add significant value. This is where one of the most powerful thinking tools comes in: zero-based thinking. You regularly ask yourself this brutally honest question about every part of your life. Knowing what I now know, is there anything I'm doing today that I wouldn't get into again if I were starting over? Is there a job, a relationship, a project, or even a customer that, knowing what you now know, you wouldn't take on if you had the choice again today? If the answer is yes, then your next question should be, how do I get out of this situation, and how fast can I do it? Discontinuing just one major time-consuming activity can dramatically simplify your life almost overnight. This connects to what Brian calls the law of complexity. It states that the complexity of any task increases exponentially with the number of steps or people involved. A task you do yourself has 1 step, so its complexity level is 1. But if you ask someone else to do it, you've added a step, and the complexity level jumps to 4, because the potential for mistakes, delays, and misunderstandings has quadrupled. Add a third person into the mix, and the complexity jumps all the way to 9. The lesson is beautifully simple. The more you can streamline any process by reducing the number of steps, the more efficient and effective you become. The second part of the Grand Slam formula is leverage. The ancient Greek philosopher Archimedes once said, "Give me a lever long enough and a place to stand, and I can move the world." You too can use leverage to achieve far more than you could ever accomplish on your own. Brian identifies 7 types of leverage you can harness. First, other people's knowledge. One single idea from a book, a seminar, or a conversation can save you years of hard work and struggle. Successful people are constantly and deliberately searching for new knowledge. Second, other people's energy. Delegate and outsource lower-value activities so you can focus exclusively on the few things that only you can do. Third, other people's money. Your ability to borrow and invest capital can allow you to achieve goals that would be completely impossible with only your own resources. Fourth, other people's successes. Study what successful people have done and learn directly from their experiences. You can save yourself an enormous amount of time and trouble by following their proven path. Fifth, other people's failures. Benjamin Franklin wisely said that we can either buy our wisdom or borrow it. By studying the failures of others, you can learn valuable lessons without having to pay the painful price yourself. Sixth, other people's ideas. One genuinely good idea is all you need to start building a fortune. The more you read and learn, the more likely you are to discover it. And seventh, other people's contacts. One introduction to one key person can completely change the entire direction of your life and career. The third step in the formula is to accelerate. We live in a society that increasingly values speed. Everyone is impatient. If you can develop a solid reputation for doing things quickly and doing them well, you will naturally move to the front of the line in your field. Always be looking for ways to deliver results faster for the key people in your life. And finally, the fourth step is to multiply yourself. You do this by working with other people whose skills and talents complement your own. A good team leader creates an environment where ordinary people can consistently achieve extraordinary results. Your ability to build, inspire, and lead a high-performance team is absolutely central to your long-term success. So now we have this powerful framework. Take complete responsibility, find your focal point using the 80-20th rule, and then systematically apply the Grand Slam formula. But how exactly do you apply this thinking to the different parts of your life? Brian breaks life down into 7 key areas, and he suggests you create a personal strategic plan for each one. This is essentially the same process that major corporations use to achieve market dominance. But you're applying it to your own life. The ultimate goal is to increase your return on energy, which is the amount of happiness, success, and fulfillment you get from the mental, emotional, and physical energy you invest each day. The 7 critical areas are business and career, family and personal life, money and investments, health and fitness, personal growth and development, social and community activities, and spiritual development and inner peace. For each of these areas, you ask yourself a series of powerful questions to gain absolute clarity. Let's walk through some of the most important ones. For your business and career, you must see yourself as the architect of your own destiny. The days of relying on a company to take care of you for life are long gone. You begin by clarifying your core values. What's most important to you in your work? Integrity, excellence, customer service, innovation. Your happiness and satisfaction at work are directly tied to how consistent your daily actions are with your deepest values. Next, you create a compelling vision. If your career was absolutely perfect 5 years from now, what would it look like? How much would you be earning? What kind of work would you be doing? What would your typical day involve? Don't be vague here. Be incredibly specific. Remember, a goal that is not in writing is merely a wish floating in the air. Then, you identify your specific area of excellence. This is your competitive advantage in the marketplace. To be truly successful and well compensated, you must be outstanding at the most important part of your work. Ask yourself this critical question. What one skill, if I developed it and performed it in an excellent fashion, would have the greatest positive impact on my career? Whatever your honest answer is, that becomes your primary focal point for professional development. This is exactly where you need to put your X. For your family and personal life, the key principle is actually quite different from your career. At work, it's the quality of time that matters most. At home, it's the quantity of time that matters. You simply cannot rush the development of meaningful relationships. Love, trust, and deep connection are built over long, uninterrupted periods of time spent together. Brian suggests a powerful, but potentially uncomfortable exercise. Sit down with the people you love most and ask them 4 simple but profound questions. First, is there anything I'm doing that you would like me to do more of? Second, is there anything I'm doing that you would like me to do less of? Third, is there anything you would like me to start doing that I'm not doing now? And fourth, is there anything you would like me to stop doing altogether? The answers might surprise you, challenge you, or even hurt a little. But if you listen carefully without defending yourself or making excuses, you can gain incredible insights into how to dramatically improve the most important relationships in your life. Remember this truth: no success in your public life can ever compensate for failure in your home. When it comes to money and investments, the key is developing a long-term perspective. Most self-made millionaires think about financial independence frequently, often daily. It's not just a vague goal somewhere in the future. It's a central organizing principle that guides their daily decisions and actions. The secret to building real wealth is actually not complicated at all. The only way most people achieve genuine financial independence is through consistent saving and investing, month after month, year after year, without interruption. The most important financial habit you can possibly develop is to pay yourself first. Before you pay any bills, before you spend money on anything else, set aside a meaningful portion of your income, ideally 10 to 20%, specifically for savings and investments. If you honestly can't save 10% right now, then start with just 1%. The habit itself is far more important than the amount when you're beginning. You must also consciously break what's called Parkinson's Law, which observes that expenses always rise to meet income. The more you earn, the more you tend to spend. To become wealthy, you must discipline yourself to live on less than you make, and consistently save and invest the rest. Brian offers a powerful rule that can change your financial future. For the rest of your career, save and invest 50% of every single pay raise you receive. Let your lifestyle increase slowly, while your savings increase dramatically. This one habit alone will almost guarantee that you become wealthy over time. For your health and fitness, the first step is to decide how long you want to live. If you decide you want to live to be 80 or 90 years old, healthy and active, you now have a clear focal point. You can look at your current daily habits and honestly ask, is this helping me reach my goal, or is it moving me further away from it? There are 7 fundamental secrets to maintaining superb health throughout your life. First, maintain a proper weight for your height and build. The basic formula is straightforward: eat less and exercise more. Second, eat a proper diet, focused on lean proteins, colorful fruits and vegetables, whole grains, and drink plenty of clean water throughout the day. Third, exercise properly and consistently, aiming for 200 to 300 minutes of moderate exercise per week. Fourth, get proper rest, because most people need 7 to 8 solid hours of sleep per night to perform at their best. Fifth, consider taking quality nutritional supplements, since our modern diet often lacks the necessary vitamins and minerals for optimal performance. Sixth, stop smoking if you currently do, because it's one of the absolute worst things you can do to your body. And seventh, reduce or eliminate alcohol consumption. Moderation in all things is a fundamental key to living a long, healthy life. For your personal growth and development, you must understand and embrace this fundamental truth: your life only gets better when you get better. To have more in life, you must first become more as a person. This means making a genuine commitment to lifelong learning and continuous improvement. Read books in your field for at least an hour every single day. Listen to educational audio programs while you're driving or commuting. Transform your travel time into valuable learning time. Brian offers what he calls the 1000% formula for personal growth, and it's based on the law of incremental improvement. Here's the question: could you become just 0.1% better at what you do each day? Of course you could. That's a tiny, almost invisible improvement. But if you improve by just 0.1% every single weekday, that compounds to a 26% improvement in just 1 year. Now compound that modest daily improvement over 10 years, and you end up with a staggering 1,004% increase in your productivity and performance. Small, daily improvements, when practiced consistently over time, lead to results that seem almost miraculous. Finally, we come to social contribution and spiritual development. Ultimately, the deepest human need is the profound desire for meaning and purpose. It's the need to feel like you're part of something bigger than yourself, that your life matters beyond your own immediate wants and needs. This is where you begin to think seriously about your legacy. What kind of lasting difference do you want to make in the world? What do you genuinely want to be remembered for after you're gone? Spiritual development isn't necessarily about organized religion or specific beliefs. It's about finding genuine inner peace. And the highest human good, the thing we're all searching for whether we realize it or not, is peace of mind. One of the most powerful ways to find this peace is through the regular practice of solitude. Spend time completely alone, just 30 to 60 minutes, with absolutely no distractions, no phone, no music, no other people. In that silence and stillness, your mind will gradually clear, and the answers you've been searching for will often naturally rise to the surface. And throughout all of this, in every area of your life, live by the timeless golden rule, do unto others as you would have them do unto you. It's an ancient principle that appears in virtually every major religion and philosophy, but it remains the foundation of all healthy relationships and a truly peaceful life. The entire focal point system ultimately comes back to that one simple but profound idea from the very beginning. Life is constantly presenting you with hundreds of gauges and dials demanding your attention. There are endless competing priorities, urgent requests, and potential opportunities pulling you in different directions. But somewhere in all that noise and confusion, there is one gauge that matters more than all the others. There is one specific place where a single, focused effort will solve the core problem and move you significantly forward. Your great challenge, and simultaneously your greatest opportunity, is to find that focal point in each area of your life, to find your X, and then to focus all your energy, attention, and effort on it, without diversion or distraction, until you achieve the result you genuinely desire. As we wrap up our journey through Brian Tracy's focal point, I want to leave you with one final thought to carry with you. In a world that is constantly screaming for our attention, with endless notifications, distractions, and shiny opportunities, the core message of this book feels more important and relevant than ever before. The modern world relentlessly tells us that the key to success is to do more, to be more, to add more to our already overflowing plates. But the deeper wisdom of Focal Point teaches us the exact opposite. This isn't a book about addition at all. It's fundamentally a book about subtraction. It's about having the courage to simplify, to eliminate the unnecessary, and to confidently say no to good opportunities so you can say yes to great ones. It teaches us that real power doesn't come from doing more things, but from doing more of the right things, the things that truly matter and move the needle. The most powerful and transformative lesson here is the absolute importance of clarity. So often, we stumble through life in a thick fog, genuinely unsure of what we really want or why we're doing what we do each day. We work incredibly hard, but our efforts are scattered in 100 different directions, like trying to fill a bucket with holes in it. Brian Tracy essentially hands us both a map and a compass. He forces us to pause and ask ourselves the hard questions. What are my true values? What is my compelling vision for my future? What is the one thing I can do, right now in this moment, that will make the biggest positive difference? If you're feeling overwhelmed, stuck, or frustrated with your progress, here are a few simple but powerful actions you can take, starting today, to begin applying these life-changing principles. First, perform the basic focal point exercise for yourself. Take just 10 uninterrupted minutes. Sit down with a piece of paper, or open a blank document and answer this single question as honestly as you can. What is the most valuable use of my time, right now, in this season of my life? Identify the one specific task or project that, if you did it consistently and well, would have the greatest positive impact on your work or your life overall. That is your Tejo. X. Make a genuine commitment to work on that one thing, without any distraction, for at least the next hour. Second, practice zero-based thinking on just one small part of your life. Take an honest look at your daily routine. Is there a recurring meeting you attend, a report you create, or a habit you maintain that, knowing what you now know, you honestly wouldn't start doing today if you had the choice? If something comes to mind, ask yourself this follow-up question: how can I stop doing this, and how quickly can I exit? And third, try what I call the golden hour experiment. Tomorrow morning, wake up just 30 minutes earlier than you normally would. But instead of immediately reaching for your phone or jumping into your routine, invest that precious time deliberately in yourself. Read a few pages of a genuinely good book. Thoughtfully plan your day with intention, or simply sit in complete silence and think clearly about what really matters. Start your day with clear intention, not mindless reaction to whatever comes at you. That was an in-depth exploration of the book summary of Focal Point by Brian Tracy. We've covered the core principles and most important ideas today, but I'll be completely honest with you about something important. A summary, no matter how thorough, can only ever be a signpost pointing you in a direction. It can show you the trailhead, but it can't walk the path for you. The real transformation, the genuine breakthroughs, happen when you engage with the full book yourself. It's in those quiet moments of reading, when a particular story, or a simple phrase, connects with something deep inside you in a way you didn't expect and couldn't have predicted. This summary is specifically designed to help you decide if this book is worth your valuable time and attention. If anything we've discussed together today has genuinely sparked something inside you, if you felt even a small stirring of recognition or possibility, I strongly encourage you to grab a copy of the full book. Reading it isn't just about passively learning new ideas or collecting information. It's an active experience that can genuinely change the way you see yourself, your work, and your daily life. The link to get the book is waiting for you in the description below. Also, if you found this summary valuable, insightful, or helpful in any way, please take just a moment to click that like button and subscribe to Billionaire's Bookshelf. That simple action ensures you won't miss our next journey into another potentially life-changing book. Let's keep learning, growing, and becoming better versions of ourselves together.